Okay, I think this is it. I think we're live. I'm hoping we are. Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Pascucci. A great show. Like any other class, before I get started, I get the jitters. But I'm expecting a great week. We're all stuck in, well, not stuck in the house, but we got things to do, and uh, the school's got to get cleaned. I'll relax in a moment. Um, let's see. We're here to paint this picture. I'll get started on that first. Something I know about. So we're here to paint this picture, and it's going to take us for the rest of the week. We'll paint for an hour each day, and we'll get there step by step. So the easiest, oh, let me get this out of the way. Just a little friendly reminders from the news for myself. Let's see. So, what was that? What was that? I don't know. Am I live? Let me check again, please. I don't know. Something just. What's going on? Well, I'm gonna say it's live. I'm not gonna worry about what that noise was. Maybe it was an alarm. Who knows? Anyways, what we're gonna do. I hope everybody's all set up. I saw a lot of response. I made friends with a lot of people this morning, and I'm sorry I checked just before I came live to make sure that anybody that wanted to be friends to catch the show would be able to. So, let's see. Let's go right into this. Everybody has their colors, but I don't want to just jump right into the painting. Okay, painting is a lot different than drawing. Drawing, you could imagine, is what you draw what you see in front of you first. Okay, so if I was to draw this plate and then the picture, well, I would have to draw the plate first and then have my depth go back into the picture using my pencil. What we're going to do in painting is we start from the furthest point back and work to you. I don't know what's happening there. Is that like, I don't know. I just hope I'm live. Maybe I should shut off the volume or something. But anyways, I'm just going to go ahead. Let's talk about different skies first, okay? Let's see. So we have this one. This sky will be okay. But if you have light blue, that's just fine. I happen to have just a little bit darker blue, and if you saw on the ad that we're going to be using, okay. So what we want to start with is different types of skies. Okay, let's talk about different types of skies. So when we paint from the furthest point back to you. So obviously we're going to start from the sky, and sometimes there are no skies, and we'll get into that too. But let's see. Let's take a look at some older paintings that I had done. Okay, so this sky is just kind of like a wispy, wintry sky, kind of a wind-blown sky. Okay, and you can see it's still a relaxed sky. Looks a little bit cold, and that's cool. This one, a little bit different, kind of like a fiery sky. See, and you always pull things out, pull the colors in. So I started with some very, very light colors back here, and then I put a little bit of a heavier yellow on there just to show the different types of sky. Let's see. This one is savable. I'm not really a fan of this one, but there's too much yellow. This one is just, well, we won't even talk about that one. That's a little busy. Well, this is a nice one too. See, maybe I'll do something like this we'll work on, okay? So think about, see how we have these darker areas in here? So we're going to work with just the top half first. And let's get going on that. So if everybody's ready, I'm going to take some blue out, and some white. Okay? And you don't need a lot, just like that. Because remember, you don't want to pull a lot of paint out because you can't get it back in here. And you really don't want to waste it. Okay? So just be careful of that. All right, I feel a little better. Okay. I was just really, to get going, of course. But you know what I would love to see? As we get going, take pictures of your own work. If you of course, you got the phone. Oh, but you can't though. I don't know how to work the phone. But if you could take pictures in stages, you'll see how we get there and how you got there and the different things we did and how we explained it. But anyways, yeah, that's fine. So let's take, everybody has a smaller brush, a 1/2 inch brush. We'll take the 1/2 inch brush, or we'll call this the bigger brush, and we'll call this one the smaller brush. Okay, and see, these brushes are, I get these at Michael's. And these, well, this one here is a round one. I just wanted to pull it out to show you how they come. This is Artist Loft. I get them at Michael's. These are round brushes, but you see the one I'm using is a flat brush. Okay, so this would be the 11. So this would be a number 12. So this would be equal to that size if it were a round brush. All right, that's all that is. But I want to show you how they come from big to small. So if you have anything like this size here, you know, is good, or like this. So big and a small brush is all we need. So what we're going to do now, we're going to put that small brush aside, put that right up in here in our easel, right? That's what it's for. And what we're going to do now, we're just going to break this. Let's look at the canvas this way first, okay? We're going to break the canvas into half, just like this. We have the top half, we have the bottom half. The bottom half is basically filled up with all those flowers, right? And it's the black underneath there that gives it the depth. Look, it looks like it's filled, infested with ticks in there, doesn't it? I don't want to walk through there, but it looks like it's all unkept but beautiful for an old country house. And every painting is going to be different, so so don't feel discouraged. Okay, we could change this around. There's always something you can do. And I was looking at this, and what I was thinking also, even though this may be a complete painting already, you could even change it a little bit more by just pushing the house over just a little bit, taking some of these back trees and pulling them forward and making like a little pathway. Talk about it later. We'll see how we get and how far we get later on. But yeah, so I figured after the news is pretty good, right? So oh, and I always like to say that please make sure that you have a drink, because you always want to have. I got a nice tea for myself. Moms, maybe this is a good time for you to get a drink. And let's get going. So what you want to do is you want to take some of that white and just go right through the middle of your painting. Okay, we're going to go right through the middle of the painting, and we're going to take just a little bit of that blue. Okay, we're not going to scoop it. Okay, it's not like a shovel. Okay, so and let's not go right into there, because we're going to change our sky. Now this one, like I said, happened to be light blue. This one is going to be darker blue. So I want to come up here and look at what I'm doing. See how I'm doing like small little back and forth, kind of like a boop, 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 like a windshield wiper, I guess, you know. But what you want to do is take a little chunk right on the edge of the bristles and stay up in this corner. And what that'll do is it'll give us a darker area, and we can get lighter as we come across. Okay, so I want to keep this in this area first, and you can start way in the corner if you like. And because it's got that white on there, it's already want to turn a little bit lighter, so don't worry about that. So let that get darker, and you don't want it that dark anyways. No sky is really that dark. Although, I think I beg to differ. Yes, some skies are a little bit darker. See? And this one's pretty cool too, but I use green, yellow, and black for that sky. Oh, you know, another show, another time maybe, if I'm allowed back. We'll do it again. But unfortunately, we're not stuck in the house, but we have to have something to do. So I figured, what better way? And I would love to see. I want my phone to be like bombarded with pieces of work by the end of the week, or even as you're going in stages. I would love to see how many people are actually following along. I see a lot of setups, and I'm very happy about that. So how was your morning? My morning was kind of rushed a little bit. My son needed a ride to work, and of course I knew that I was picking him up, but I overslept, and I got a little upset at myself. Imagine I'm out of work and I'm upset to think that I'm late getting somebody else to work. Oh well, that's my job for now, anyways. But Everything will work out. Everything will work out. I miss all my friends at the nursing homes. Maybe I should say, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Steve Pascucci. I grew up in East Cambridge. I live in New Hampshire now. I always wanted New Hampshire because it's such a beautiful place. Now see what I'm doing here? I'm sorry, I should have been telling you. I'm using just a little bit more white because I explained that we just want to have a lighter area as we come. So we can, whatever your sky looks like now, see like this, I just have a streak right there of blue. I don't really care for that. So I want to give it a little bit more character. I'm going to give it some darker areas. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to come in, take a little bit, and just come in here like that and just fill it in. Now over that, we let that dry. And then over that, let's get a good big, I want a big area like this. So I can explain what we're going to do over the house. It's going to look fantastic. Okay, so imagine the house is going to be covered up over that. So I hope everybody has a great sky. Make that as dramatic as you like. And I just happen to like the darker skies like that. They give more character. And so you could put layer on top of layer because this piece of sky back here is further back. This could be a dark cloud coming in, or this could even be the cloud above it, and that the sky be deeper and darker. Okay? So what we'll do now, I just want to give it another layer, like I said. So I'm going to come right up in here. I'm going to take a little, every time I'm not scooping it, I'm just putting the paint at the edge or the tip of the brush, and just doing a little bit like this, and let it dry like that, because we can always put things over it. Yeah, to me, it just needs to be a little bit bigger, and you'll see. It's not my first one I'm doing with you, so I just know that when I'm comfortable with the sky, then I can continue. So I'm happy with that. Now, usually, and we did that maybe 10 minutes if it took that long, if I'm even on TV. So what we wanted to do next, what would you think that would be the next thing to do? We worked on the top half and it's wet, so we have to be careful of that. We got to be careful, and we do work in layers. So what would be the next thing to do? Anybody? That's right, yeah, use the bottom, right? This is all wet, may as well work on the bottom, right? What color do you use? What's the deepest color that you see in there? There's a lot of color on there, but what's the deepest color to put a layer on top of layer on top of layer, which would be black. That's right. Now, you don't even have, I'll tell you what, I'm a lazy painter. Now, I'm not even going to wash my brush. I do have water over here, believe me, I got it. But I'm not going to use it until I absolutely need it. And don't keep it too close to your drink either. That's usually a bad mistake also. So I got my iced tea in a bottle of water. Stay hydrated. And when, it's like I like to say that when I paint, I like to be barefoot too. Like just the whole art thing, I'd show you my bare feet, but my bunion probably wouldn't fit in the frame. So we're just going to continue with this. And what we want to do next, like I say, is we want to think about the bottom, and we're going to use black. Black is going to be our next color. And we're not concerned about all these little spikes that are sticking up yet. All we want to do is just bring this right down. We're not going to even go up to the blue. Okay, and I'll explain, but we're not going to wash our brush. So if you did wash your brush, make sure you dry it off really good, because next is black. And again, you don't need a lot of paint. Okay, whatever I put on here, see, I used a lot, but I'm a professional, I guess. So what I'm going to do now, even with this dirty brush, I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to work on 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock. What you want to do is just like that, okay? Maybe I should pull this in a little bit closer, I don't know. If I'm even on TV. I hope I didn't kill it. Okay, so all I'm doing, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, straight across. Look at that. Yeah, so I figured after the news would be good because everybody watches the news, but today I didn't watch the news. I was pretty much getting ready for this. And get 11 o'clock, I get a little more nervous. 11:30, get a little more nervous, got an hour. Make sure everything's all set up. How's it look? This or that. and then I didn't even watch the news. And then, so I'm thinking after the news, you know, what should we call the show if it continues after the news? I don't know. Or ATN, you know, ATN, see, ATN, after the news. But then again, you get the French people. ATN? What's ATN? Oh, he's after the news. Is it after the news or is it ATN? I don't know, some guy, ATN, paints after the news. So Lorraine and I went shopping the other day, and no toilet paper, but we didn't need any. Not like we hoarded it either. It's just, well, actually, she went shopping one day, and then I think I went shopping a couple of days later, and I remembered what I thought we needed, and she picked up what we needed 2 days prior, and so we doubled up on stuff. Thank God toilet paper was one. But what are we going to do now with all that soup? There we go. And look at that, right? We're not even concerned, but we're already, look at that. I hope your paintings are looking awesome. And by the end of the week, we got 5 hours to work on this. And look at what we've done in 15 minutes or so, if I'm even on TV. TV, is it? I say TV only because I used to have a show in Goffstown on Goffstown television. That was years and years ago, when I was much younger. So let's see. What would be the next thing we're going to do next? No, not the house. No. Even though, now I want to explain something to you also. I'm going to put this in the water now. Only just to let that get washed because we are done with that. So we have a beautiful sky. I hope you're happy with that. Hope I gave you enough time, actually. And if not, this will give us time to catch up. And then we just take black by itself, start from the bottom up, and what are we doing? We're sawing it across at what time? 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock. That's right. So if you have, if you're up to there, then I'll continue and I'll explain what's going on next. I hope it's bright enough in here. Let's see. Yep, and I can see that this part of the painting is still wet in here, and that's okay. But we could go back to this one and talk about what the next layer would be. Okay. Now I'm sure you got all your colors out and you pulled everything out and you're all set to go and very excited. But you know, there's no reason to rush right in because we're not using any of the brighter colors today. All we're using, the brightest color today is going to be white for us. Okay. A little bit boring, but that's how we start sometimes because we always want to start from the furthest point back to you, and it gets layer and layer and layer and layer. So what would be the next piece on this that we would start? Would be the trees. That's right. So the trees in the background is where we're going to come back out from, and you're not even going to be concerned about painting over the trees. We're going to do the trees completely, and you're going to be happy with them. And maybe I will just push this house over just a little bit, just to give you an idea of how that could look, okay? And just so it's not the same painting, but all this will still be in front, and maybe we'll be able to just see a little pathway go off the side. We'll see how it goes. So, but please, by the end of the night, before I watch the news again, you know, that's another thing too. If we have a good response today, our viewer capacity could double like the virus. So by the end of the week, we could have like a bunch of people watching. So that'd be pretty cool. We have brown. We have black, brown, white, and that dark blue. Okay, so black would be our darkest, and white being our lightest. We're not even going to use, well, I'm not even going to say until we get there. Everybody has their clean brush. Everybody make sure you take a drink. Take a drink. And remember, wash your hands, everybody. Common sense, you know, they tell you, but you just got to be aware of what the news tells you. So, nothing to be afraid of, but we're all home for a little while, so I figured maybe I'll do something like this to help you guys stay busy, at least for an hour. And maybe I'll get a bigger viewer base, which is awesome. I hope, like I say, I hope the people in the nursing homes that I paint with have their phones on, and I hope I did try to call everybody and let them know that I would be on, and to get them on their phones to watch me too. So, hi out there, everybody. I miss you, and hopefully we see each other soon. Let's see. So what we're going to do next is the background trees. Okay. Now, let's see. I have a color which is brown. Now, with these four colors, you'll be surprised at how much we can do today. Let's see. So there's my brown. I always want to keep your colors together so you don't mix them up. Did I use the lighter brown? Did I use the darker brown? Which one? You know, even my greens. I wish I could show you right now, because if I move the camera around, if I'm even on live, I would show you the different color greens. But I can show you we have a very light green, and we have this one here, which I like. It's called a shamrock green. Okay, so maybe for tomorrow, you may want to pick that up, because that's what these are, okay? But actually, you know something, for by tonight, I'll put up all the rest of the colors that we'll need, because all we're looking to do today is just this background. Okay, so we want to make these trees as far back as possible. We want to give this a really, really far back look. So I'm going to wash my brush, put my paint down, wash your brush. And the one thing I didn't grab was a rag. But you know what I got? I got toilet paper. Don't waste it. Commodity now. But I do have a piece. And that's good there. That's all you need, just like that. Now what we want to do is we're going to work, because we said we'll work on layers on layers on layers. We're going to work on the trees next. So let's position it so that we could have a beautiful high tree back here. But then our tree line could be way back here, so we could show more of the sky. That'd be awesome. Okay, so what we want to do is we're going to take some of that brown, and with this you want to just go straight in with the brown with your big brush. Okay, we are not even using our small brush yet. We will, but not yet. And what I want you to do is go into a little bit of the white. Okay, so go into the brown, go into the white, and it looks like that. Okay, and now think about the tree line. Okay, when you're doing trees, or if you look at trees, you see they're not a straight line that goes across. This one actually kind of is, and it shouldn't be. So that's a good example of what not to do. Okay, so now, like I say, you want to balance this painting. So what you want to do now is we have the brown and the white on there. Now, see how we kind of like brush these strokes on there, right? So what we want to do now is you want to do some poking, all right? So you got brown and white, and you want to mix that right on the canvas. Okay, now see how light that is? That's okay. Only because the dark brown, or the brown, is underneath the white. And what's going to happen is every time you reach in for that paint, we'll take a little bit more white and a little bit more brown. Now the brown will be on top and the white will be underneath, and watch what happens. See? So that brown on top gives that another depth, as though that's further back. Okay? Now these are, we're going to leave these brown just like this for now, but see, that's getting too light. So what you want to do now, see, I'm never ever taking a lot of paint. I'm just taking it, and if I need to, I'll lop it over here on the side of the plate. And yeah, there's no need to run out and get any kind of pallets and things like that, because this paint ain't going back in, so I may as well just throw it away, or in the fireplace. So see what I want to do? Now when you poking the trees on there, makes it, see how that gives it a look as though there's already hundreds of thousands of leaves on there, okay? So all you want to do now is how bulky do you want this tree? Do you want it to reach way over? Maybe, right? But see, as I'm coming across, I use my brush in such a way that I'm using it this way, at this angle, to make it look as though the branches are reaching in from the side of the painting. That's what gives it that, oh, look at that look, you know? So just stay with the brown for now, because that's going to be in the foreground. And see, I like that. I like that a little bit. I hope you can see this. I hope I'm on. And I'm just going to go right down, and I'm going to go down to the black now, okay? Don't be afraid. Just go right down to the black. And because it's a darker color, even if the black was wet, It's only going to mix in with it anyways, but I could see that ours, yeah, mine's dry. Yours should be too. All right. Now, if you're using oils, oh, oils are a whole different look and a whole. Well, I mean, they're great to work with. I've done my grandkids' portraits in oils, but and I'm not done yet. But I love the look. But see how? Let me grab one. See. All right, like this one here. See the shininess of this, and you can see how rich the colors look, right? Look how rich those colors look and shiny, beautiful, right? You come over here, these are kind of flat and dull. Until we polyurethane that, it's not going to look great. It's just going to stay that way. Okay? Did I poly? Oh, I did poly that one. Oh well. That was so. But anyways, this one, when you poly, it gives it. Well, there you go. There's the flat look right there. See the difference in the color. So polyurethane brings that color right out. Makes the whole painting pop. And I just got it paint on my hand. Sorry. I hate that. All right. Okay, so now we want to think about, look at this, right? All we have to do is fill this in, and we got a beautiful background. We got a whole tree line and everything. We'll be all set. So I'm just going to go ahead. And now, of course, I don't want that dark brown all the way across because we talked about having those in the far distance. And we don't want that to go right across because all we'd be doing is making basically a gate or a wall, okay? So think about when you look at the trees, look out the window, and you see that, oh, that's too bright. But there's not even a mistake because you can always darken that up later on, but I'll do it right now just to show you that there's never a mistake. Well, all right, you have to let it dry and then we can cover it up. So you want these light anyways against the sky, but my point is, see what you want to do is you want to have some low, some high, some go across. And then we're going to put another layer in front of there. Don't even worry about that because this is all going to be dark anyways. We're going to have all these greens. And I think we're going to make ours more green. This is kind of too yellow too. Yellow's a nice color, but it looks best in spurts, not like a chunk of it. So what we'll do now is just fill this in. And look at that. See, as I just take some darker brown, or just a brown, and go underneath that lighter color, it already gives another look like there's another tree line in front of that. See? So there you go. Hey, I want to say happy birthday to Bill Shellback if you're watching. It's Bill Shellback's birthday today, one of my old bosses from the Cambridge Water Department. Happy birthday. And I hope everybody, I'm so excited to know that people are setting up and have set up and are willing and ready to paint. That, to me, I'm expecting this to be like my biggest class ever. So, and if my son Justin's watching in North Carolina, hello. And to Emily too. We'll see you guys soon. But see what's happening here? In the whole background now. You could basically call that a painting in itself, right? But we ain't. So, what you want to do, and see, I'm not using chunks and chunks of paint. I keep reaching in just for a little bit, and if you notice, I only fill in that much, and then when it starts to wear out, then I go back in for how much? Just a little. That's right, you don't want a lot. And where do you put it? Just on the tip. Very good. There we go. See? Now, each time that you put a layer on there, should, well, I would think that the sky, yeah, of course the sky is all dry now. Never do this though, I mean, because if you put too much paint and you do that, you're going to have it all over your hand. You'll be not happy. So we're going to leave it like that. And even though, see how there's these light areas in there? That's okay. Those could even be used. Or what we could do is just, well, you know that this is going to be covered up with the house anyway, so we're not even going to worry about that right now. Let's see, what else? Hydration. Apparently, we're still going, so we're going to see Mom in Alabama. And if we're still doing this, I'll do a live show from the Bay, I guess. Mobile Bay. So we'll do like a plein air. I'll have to get one of those hats and set up. But yeah, hopefully, I would love to see. I'm so excited to just know that people are painting with me, and I would love to see a lot of your work. So as it progresses, and by the end of the week, it's going to be, you guys are going to be so happy with the work that you've done. Really, as you can see, look how simple, right? If I can do it, believe me. So what we want to do next, we're going to work on we're going to work on a little bit of the house, but not right now because we have that. Make sure your big brush is washed and clean now. Okay, let's go to our small brush. Now, with that small brush, let's look at the trees up here. See how the tree trunks and the tree branches, the way they reach out, the way that I did those, you do the whole thing, and then we put another color on top of that. Okay, so why don't we do that? I don't want to rush ahead. Tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow I'll have all the colors up there. So if we start doing some of the grasses tomorrow or whatever we do, but today we got plenty to do with just the background, the trees, and it's only 1 o'clock. We'll probably get the house, at least if not painted, at least we'll put it in. But see what I'm saying? You have to do the entire background, regardless. Even if this was the most beautiful part of the painting, it's going to get covered up. You can push that house over and maybe save whatever you think is beautiful in there and don't want to lose. Because sometimes things happen by accident. And if you try to duplicate it, you're not gonna, it just happens. So what you want to do is just be careful. That's all. So if you know this is just background, don't be too concerned about it. Okay? Like see, like where oh, I did it again. I hate paint on me. I do. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to work on those tree trunks and tree branches. Everybody get their small brush? I got a nice small brush. This one happened to be number 3. Okay, but look at how worn out that is. That thing's supposed to be square, but it's not. I don't know if you can actually see that, but it's supposed to be like really, really square and clean, but it ain't. So what we want to do now is just come up here. Again, don't scoop it, okay? Don't scoop it. I'm just taking, because black is very, very dangerous color. Black, red, orange. Careful with those. But we'll talk about that too. See, there's enough orange in here, but we won't talk about that yet. All right, so what we want to do now is we're gonna cut in. Okay, I call it cutting in. We're gonna cut in our tree trunks. You ready? And what we're going to do is we're not going to, even though it's a small brush, we're not going to paint it this way. We're going to paint it this way on its side, okay? So it's not going to be painted on the fat side. It's going to be painted on the skinny side, okay? And what you want to do is you want to go straight, okay? Take just a little bit, where? On the tip, all right? And what you want to do, and always start from the bottom, because when people tend to fan things, I don't know why, but they start it from the top and they bring it down. Okay, well, I think I'll show you right on this one. But if I was to, well, I won't do it now. Okay. We're going to start right from the bottom. The reason we start from the bottom is that you just want to make sure that when you fan it off, you could either fan off to a branch, or maybe it could be hidden in behind. But sometimes those little fan motions, and what I'm saying there by fan motion is just, oh, what's that? Oh, it's the thing from the window. That was back in the 70s there. All right, so what I want to do now, see, I'm just going to take my brush and I'm holding it on the side, okay? I'm not going the fat side, I'm holding it sideways. And I'm going to start from the bottom, and I'm just going to push that all the way up, and it should have enough paint on there without having a clump on there. Enough to go from the top, from the bottom to the top. And see what happens, how it fades off and feathers away? That's what you want to happen, but you want it to happen at the top of it. Because imagine if it was flipped upside down. You would have this big, big chunk at the top of the tree, and then nothing to hold it up. Don't make sense, right? So what you want to do, again, like the other guy says, give him a friend. You know, it could be in the painting, it could be off to the side, but give him something. And I think what I want to do is I'm just going to push it I'm going to push it straight up like that. And I will give them a friend, and I'll run that right off to the top. And I'm just going to run that back. Remember, I'm using the side of my brush, not the fat side, but the side of the side. And I'm just dragging that right back to where it started. Okay? And just like that. And look at this. What a beautiful start. What a beautiful start. So you figure a couple of hours, and look at what a dramatic sky. You know, this is nice with the soft summer sky, but this is going to be a nice, this is going to be dramatic. There's going to be also summer, because we got all these flowers here, which would only grow in the summer. But, and that's another thing too, I can't wait to go back outside and paint. Nothing like painting outside. Okay, so what we want to do now, remember, these leaves are not being held up by themselves, right? So what you want to do is, again, take a little, just a little bit of paint on there, on the side, and push. But what you want to do here, remember, we're going to have the house here, so don't be too concerned about that. But what you want to do is just pull it up and push it up like this. Now this is just, you know, random, because if you just have it go any which way, doesn't matter. Okay. All right, I think I'm feeling relaxed enough now. Okay. And things like that. Like I said, that looks like bark. Well, it looks like tree bark. So leave it alone. And it doesn't matter. Now, we can't leave all these chunks of tree trunk up there with no branches. So let's take our small brush. Just a little bit of paint. Remember, just that little bit. Don't waste it. I do waste a lot of paint, but I use a lot of paint. If that makes any sense. Okay, now see, just here and there, I'm just trying to fill in those absolute empty areas, just in case something happens that where my branches or my leaves are going to go across, because now we want to kind of like tuck those in. See, and by tucked in, see what I'm saying? Like where the tree trunk comes up, and then you got a clump of leaves, and then you have another tree trunk, but it breaks off into the V. So that's what, but it's hidden behind more and more of those trees, the leaves. So that's what we're going to do here. So you want to throw in your background first. And like I say, there's a tree behind that tree, right? So that's what that tree is. Now we're going to make a tree with this tree. So that's a background tree in the brown, as these are all background trees. And now what we're going to do is work on the front. So this, think about how the branches just break off. There's a little branch breaks off, then another branch breaks off. There. Let me see if I can actually show you quickly. Yes, I can, because this, sorry, I'll be right back. All right, here I am. See, so what I'm going to do here, just like this. Now remember, where you have these trees, you want to have branches breaking off, and it's good to have a shaky hand. Okay, and see what I'm doing. Usually when I paint, if I'm painting something delicate like that, not delicate, but if I want to make sure I get a clean edge, I'll come up here and I'll choke up on it like a pen, you know, I'll paint way up here. But if I'm doing something loose and free like a tree branch or a tree limb, that's exactly what I do. I take a little bit, I'm still not taking chunks of paint, but what I'm doing is I'm going to start right from there, and then I'm just going to make it creepy and let it break off, and maybe another one. But see, it gives it that creepy, britchy look. Look at that, right? And how cool that is, right? But just that simple. Then you put some leaves here and there, but we'll get into that. So that's all we want to do right there, okay? So actually I should keep that there for you guys to take a look at, only for now. I don't want to block the painting that we're doing, but I just want to show you as we're working on the tree, I might as well leave it there. And see, so, and just let it come off to the side. It doesn't matter which way. Doesn't matter. There's no rule to it. But just make it creepy. Let it come up and fall, you know. But you never want to have an empty spot. But don't make it too thick. You don't want this big branch like that, because if that's on the edge, imagine having a big beefy branch at the end of that right there. Wouldn't look right. Your eye would never walk away from that. Or you'd have to hide it. And that's another thing too. See, I'm getting too involved in the tree to think that my house is going to be there. So, and I said already that I'm going to push the house over, so I think I'll work higher on the tree because it's going to be covered by the house. So I'll work up here. Any kind of detail or fancy looking thing I want to do, I'm going to push up top now because I know that that's going to be where the viewer is going to be looking at it. Okay, you always want to have, everything must be interesting to look at. And you can easily do that by just observing, and just, not when you're driving though. Not when you're driving. Don't be looking at the clouds and stuff, because the guy in front of you may put the brake lights on. But, as you're walking down the street, not that I walk, but, I just notice things. And look at that. Right? And I'm not going to go too crazy on that because I know there's other things. See now right here. That's a good example right there. See how heavy that looks? That doesn't look good. But it's not lost. Why? Because later on when we come in with our trees and our leaves, we can cover that up. I'll show you. I'll show you how. I hope everybody's enjoying this. I hope everybody's coming along, painting. It's going to be fantastic. I really am excited. I am excited to think about the end of the week. And I hope that I'm helping do my little part here. Try to help the moms, the kids themselves. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe you get some questions. Ask me, was I too quick? Let me know. Let me know what I can help you with. All right, so I think what I want to do is leave that there for now. Now I know that everything else is dry, but what am I not going to do? Don't touch it. That's right, because you don't want to. And I just don't like paint on my hand. I go nuts. So let's wash that brush, because the next thing we're going to do is work on what? We're not going to work on any of the tree right now. We're all set with this for now, so we don't have to worry about that. So the next thing we could do is the house. All right, yeah, we could do the house. Yeah, because it's the next layer in. Very good. So, make sure that you have a drink. And don't get paint on. Oh, I meant to tell you too, make sure you're wearing like crappy t-shirt or something, or you don't want to be all dressed up. I don't mind getting paint on my clothes, but if I get it on me, it's like, I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I'll be washing my hands because of the corona, but I can see it's, yeah, I already got it on me a couple times. It's inevitable, but what are you going to do? All right, so now, again, everybody ready? I don't want to rush. Don't want to rush. Okay. I hope everybody's at least up to here with me. And please let me know if I'm Russian or what's going on. Well, I'm not Russian. I'm Italian. All right, so what I'm going to do is break this right in half. Okay, so we know that this is going to be all covered up with the tall grasses. Okay, thick infested backyard. So let's see. This I know is all dry. So what color are we going to go into? Yes, we're going to go into the white. Now we're only going to use our small brush for a moment. Okay, and what we're going to do is we want to outline where our house is going to go. Just the top of the house, just the top. Okay, we're not worried about the sides, we're not worried about the window, nothing. Okay, so, but we're not going to do that in black. The black comes afterwards. Why? Because our house is going to be white, and that's what we're going to be working on. The white is underneath the black, so the black is another layer on top of the white. Ah, very good. Okay, so all that comes on later. The house, the door comes in, the window goes on. We build it later. All we're looking for is just to frame it up right now. Okay, and by framing it up is all we're going to do. I'm going to push mine over, and let's see, just a little bit because I like this. See, I want to take an area that I'm happy with. I don't want to cover this dark area up that we made on purpose because I want to show how that can be like really used in the painting. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep the house a little bit lower, and I am going to make it sizable or big, but not too big. Okay, now you want to leave room up here, so make sure that the top. I'm going to put it right in here where my tree branch was. So I'm going to come right in here. And see, I want to show you that I don't have to have the whole house in there. I could have maybe 3/4, right? And like I say, every painting. Oh, I got to change my angle now, see? Excuse me 1 minute. I just got to make sure that my angle is right. And by my angle being right, I have to pick this up because see how it looks too flat right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick it up here, get a better look at it, and then I'm going to come down here. Then I know what I'm doing, and then I can just connect this right back in there. Okay, here we go. Now I know that I'm going to be okay. So just imagine that your other eave of the house is going to come right in here. Okay, so if this part of the roof kept coming, it would go at least over here. All right, so you got to look at it that way. So when we're going to put the side of the house on, it's going to go here, and we're not even concerned about the other side. Why? Because it ain't there. So again, I want to make sure, excuse me 1 second, I just want to make sure that I got a nice straight line. And see what I did also, I should have told you, I'm sorry, I should have told you, you want to turn your brush sideways when you're doing this. You don't want the fat part, you want sideways. You're going to use it more like a pencil. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to come in and I'm going to go straight up and down. So this is kind of like 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Actually, it would be. I hope everybody fixed their clock, by the way. See, now I know that this is going to be all flowers in here. Okay, but I'm going to show you how to do just a little bit different. Okay, now watch what we do here. Now we're just going to throw this right back in the water. Get your big brush, and we're going to take white. I just happen to need a little bit more. And see, like I say, as much paint as I pull out, I'll probably use, but I use it not right away. I don't scoop it up and have to keep, oh, excuse me. That's not the Corona. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, see again, I'm not scooping it up like a shovel, but I know that I have to fill all this area in. And it's blue too. Don't worry about it, right? We still got that blue color in here, and we have it in the sky. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a good amount of white. We're going to put that right up in here, and we're going to go what? 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And I want you to paint that just like that, okay? I don't care how you scrub it in, but I just want to make sure that you're going up and down, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. All right, very important. And don't worry about seeing the blue and all those colors behind it, because those will pop through because it's a light color. Those are darker colors. And so what we have to do is we'll probably most likely, and I'll say yes now, that we'll have to do a second coat. Not usually a third, because then we are going to be adding that little bit of blue in there to give it that tinge. Okay? But like I said, every painting is different. This painting is not going to look like this painting, is not going to look like your painting. So we're just here for a learning experience, have some fun, and I'll teach you how to paint. How to paint the Pascucci way. You know, I was wondering, yeah, so it's like, what do you call the show? It can't be called After the News. So maybe do like a thing, I guess, or right in. The scooch tips don't work. I mean, I'm not really giving you tips. I'm showing you how to do the whole thing, not a tip. You just stay with me long enough, we'll be doing all kinds of stuff together. Painting. And see what I'm doing? I just want to leave that nice, just leave it like that. Now I get a better look at my roof. Am I happy with my roof? No. So I'm going to fix it. How am I going to fix it? I'm going to stand right in front of it. At least crutch in front of it. I want to get a better look. Yeah, I'm going to make that much bigger so that it matches the other side a little better. And then just come down. See, it's all trial and error and layers on layers, and you know what looks good to you. And if it looks good to you, then you know that whoever's looking at it is going to say, wow, that's awesome. So let that dry a little bit. We're no rush. There's nothing else we could do with the white right now. So let's not even think about that. Wow, it looks like 45 minutes. Not bad for 45 minutes. We got 5 hours to work on this thing. So, I mean, I could keep going, but I won't, because we're going to break this up. Now, whenever you think that your painting is ready for a second coat, then you go ahead. I don't want to rush mine. And you know something? Great idea. If you have a hair dryer, I just thought of too. If you got a hair dryer, then you just go right ahead. Don't put it too close, because if you put it too close, it'll dry too fast. And if it dries too fast, what happens? Cracks. Cracks like plaster Paris, I guess, you know? I've done a couple sculptures in plaster Paris that don't work. They just crumble later on. So, oh yeah, I don't just paint. I draw, I sculpt, I paint, I build furniture. No, I don't. I call people to help me do stuff. All right. So, oh, look at that. Yeah, see? Now, I'm not using a lot of paint. Don't scoop it up there and shovel it on there and leave big puddles like that just so you can be caught up and hope that you can continue. That's not what we want. This color has to be dry, but it has to be at least 2 coats to begin with, okay? So, I'm just going to put mine on slowly. We got like 10 more minutes or so. So, I would think that this is a great start. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I hope everybody tunes in tomorrow. And like I said, please, if you got any kind of pictures that you could show me of your work already, I would love to see it. I really would love to see it. So in a small way, so any kids that listening too, it's like now you got to help clean up all this mess. You can't just run away from the table now. Okay? So things like that help mom out too. But I tell you, I've been painting all my life. I've held jobs, of course, and but I've always worked on something. I've always had something to work on: a painting, a sculpture, most likely a painting or a drawing. And later on, I'll show you some pictures of the grandkids of what I've done. I just don't want to move things around, and above all, I hope I'm on. I hope I'm on. So we'll find out in 10 minutes. All right, so see, and this will also give it like a wash look too. See, like a little bit of my black was still, you can see a little bit of the black was still wet. So, but that's okay. It's all right. There wasn't enough for it to matter. And the other part of it was dry already. And then the next part that we're going to do, I don't even want to rush that because if everybody's not ready. But let's see, if you want, you could throw that brush in the water. And you could take your smaller brush now and make sure it's dry, clean, and you could clean up you could sharpen all your edges now, okay? Not so much the top, because we know we're going to put that black up there, so don't worry about getting that too clean or crisp, all right? So don't even worry about that. But as soon as I'm done with this, as soon as we're done here, I'm going to put all the colors up there, and I'll show you them, and yeah, we'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And if you get a chance before Michael's closes, run out and buy all your colors. And hopefully we see you tomorrow. And see what I'm doing? I'm just gonna, and I'm breaking my own rule. I'm holding my brush way back here where I should be up here like a pen because I'm working on what? Trying to get a clean edge. Right? So how am I gonna get a clean edge if I'm holding my paintbrush way back here? That ain't gonna work. So if I want to get a nice clean edge, I can put a lot of paint here on the tip of my brush. Watch. This I can load up. Because it's a small brush, I can load this up. But what you want to do is clean one edge off, clean one side off so you have like a big chunk of paint on there like that, okay? Then you come up here. But what you want to do is you want to work from the inside out to the outside edge. Okay, you don't want to work from here because then you're going to just get that, crappy look over there on the side. So if you come in on the angle this way, and you know it's a good idea too? I don't know if you guys' hands are big enough, but if you run your finger down, oh okay, thought there was paint on there. If you run your finger right down there, so line this up to where you want it, okay? I hope you can see this. Line it up to where you want it. Have a good amount of paint on the tip of the brush. Clean off one side. Line up your finger on the edge. And see what this does. This gives me this to work with. And I'm going to line this up right at the edge of my painting. And I'm just going to slide down and hopefully, hold on. Hopefully it'll work. Well, not as good as it usually does. But it's like those gadgets on TV, right? They never work when they're supposed to. That's okay. So just get a clean edge here, right on the edge, just like that. And see, look at this now. I know the house is still wet, so I'm not even going to worry about this. We got tomorrow. We could, well, we will. We're going to start tinting up that little bit because, see, even in here, but I'll show you, I don't want to do it on here because it's already polyurethane. If there was no polyurethane on here, I would use this as an example. But what we want to do here is we're just going to take a tinge of a different color blue. If you have it, grab any colors that you can. You know, just grab any, like a different blue so it's not the same blue. Okay, because what we're going to do is put that little bit of a tinge in here, but make sure it's a light blue. Okay, you don't want that dark blue in here. Okay, so I guess with that, no, we got 5 minutes. All right, so you know something? Nothing says that we can't go back into working on our background trees, right? If you're not done with that, we still got these, need some branches and tree trunks. So take a few minutes, add a little bit in here because I'll show you how we're gonna, this is gonna be such a beautiful summertime painting. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. And see the different times of day. This would be like, I don't know, could be 12 noon, could be 4:30. But this kind of gives it like, I don't know, like a 8:30, 8:45 look, you know, getting dark. At least darker. So. Alright, so. Again, from the bottom up, okay? Now I'm going to use a lighter hand, only because, and see, I wasn't using a heavy hand over here either. I just want to apply enough pressure that, oh, that's not good. Get the white off there. That's not good. I want to go back into the black. So just get that white off. No, you don't have to worry about too much, but yeah, that was ridiculous. So I'm going to go right over that again. I'm going to pull that up. I'll pull that up there. And we're going to do that. Like I said, I don't know what's going on. So I'm not too concerned about this because these are down, way down the back of the yard. Way in the backyard. And that's going to be like this. Okay, so I think maybe we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there for today. We'll just get rid of that. And I hope everybody's got a great start. And happy painting, I guess. I know I shouldn't use that because that's somebody else's line. So, hey, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye. Thank you.